all know that Al-Ahly lost the Champions League final against Moroccan side Wydad Casabalanca, and this failure to win the most coveted prize in the African continent did deny our very own coach Pitso Mosimane his Caf Champions League title and defending it twice in a row. Now, to help us talk about this, we have roped in a person who knows the coach all too well. It is his confidant, his supporter, his wife, mother to his children, his agent, his manager, as well as his business partner. A woman of many talents. We are joined by Moira Tlhagale. Good morning, Moira. Thank you so much for joining us on Sports on One Live.
Good morning, and thank you so much for inviting me, and good morning to your viewers.
As we talk about Coach Pitso Mosimane, let's start with just the expectation of always delivering at a club which is the biggest on the African continent, and Ahly, and how that has been for you.
Well, firstly, I think what we want to say as MT Sport is that we are so grateful that our coaches have been given an opportunity to break into the North African market, a market that has never been broken by Black African people to coach there. Al-Ahly is a very big club. I think it was established in 1907. It has won many titles. And therefore, given that the support base there is apparently estimated about 70 million people. If you understand that Egypt has about 100 million population, so 70% of that are Al-Ahly fans. So the expectation is expected to be very high. And unfortunately or fortunately, they would like to win all the matches all the time, all the cups all the time. Is it possible? No, but that is the expectation. I think it's a big ask, but I think also it is an important a target for one, because if you target to take everything, then probably will be able to achieve more in whatever you want to do. And I think the combination with Coach Pitso also, who wants to win everything all the time with by himself, makes the relationship good.
Let's also talk just about this criticism that doesn't seem to disappear despite of what is achieved by the coach and the team. I mean, he's won 6 trophies, including back-to-back Caf Champions League title. That's monumental. Not many can say they've done that.
Yeah, he's actually won 7 titles, and I'm saying 7 titles because we've got 2 bronze medals from the World Club Cup.
From the Club World Cup.
Yes, so from that point of view, it is quite alarming for us sometimes also why so much criticism is there. The fact of the matter from our side is we have to look at the numbers and say, what has Coach Pitso done? What has Coach Pitso and his technical team? Because it is also important to always not only talk about Coach Pitso, because he's got his South African support base, Kabelo, Musi and Kyle behind him, who really give him the huge support for him to be able to do his work. So if you look at what he's done to date, he's played, I think, around 94 games. Out of the 94 games, he has lost 9. Of the 9 games, he's only lost 2 in the league. He's lost 1 cup. He's lost 2 in the Club World Cup. He's lost 4 in the Caf Champions League, including the latest one. So mathematically, he's done about 80-something, 88%. So how do you criticize? So the reality of the matter is, it does not matter in life how good you are. You'll always have people who criticize you for whatever reason. And I think for him sometimes, yes, it is a motivation, but sometimes it is discouraging, like how much is good enough, you know. Coach Pitso is regarded as the best coach in the continent. I want to go further and say he's one of the best coaches in the world. If you look between 2019 and 2021 and look at all the coaches in the world and what people have achieved versus Coach Pitso, he's actually the best in the world. So hoping one day even FIFA would recognize that.
So, Cindy, we as South Africa definitely recognize that. And as we continue our discussion, bring us into the meeting that you had on Tuesday, because we know there was a meeting with Al-Khatib, and of course you are responsible for Coach Pitso's contracts. Talk us through what the reason for the meeting was.
Well, the meeting happened but did not happen. If, as you may or may not know, Coach Pitso currently is in Morocco. He is one of the few coaches that have been earmarked or picked up to do the first pro Caf license.
Yes, we saw that list, and he was the only South African on there.
Yes, 100%. So, we finished the Champions League in Morocco on Monday. On Tuesday, he came back home for about 3 days, then went back to Morocco to do the course. The course is only being concluded on Friday. Then he will go back to Egypt. The meeting was called for Tuesday via Zoom, and during that meeting, the club felt that it is more important to have a face-to-face meeting with the coach. So really, I think would know more about the meeting on Saturday, when the meeting happened on Saturday night. I think we must just not also get too much excited about the meeting. I think it's normal course that the board of the club would want to have a meeting with their coach, be it to review where they are or the strategy going forward, or be it to congratulate the coach that, yeah, we almost got the treble and we didn't get it. I think for us as MT Sport, what was quite surprising about this particular meeting is that it was publicized. Coach Pitso's had many meetings with the board, and at no point was this ever put on social media by the club to announce to the fans that the meeting is happening. And we see that they've been quite consistent even in updating the fans that the meeting did not happen and there is a follow-up. So we are all waiting to understand also what the meeting is about.
And something else that I love that you mentioned as we've been having our discussion is how you spoke about how Coach Pitso loves to win. And I recall last week there was a special done by SABC Sport, and I remember him saying, I am a bad loser.
Yes.
I don't want to lose. And that's the mentality that he's tried to instill in the team. And I'm assuming that's also how you want to run the company and how you've been running the company, MT Sports.
100%. You know, for me, I think people really don't know much about my background. I'm not Coach Pitso's wife. I'm me, myself, and I first. I'm a qualified quantity surveyor by profession, and I've been running my project management company for the past 18 years. And MT Sport is another baby that I've really formed, and we push very much for perfection. And perfection for me comes from the fact that being a quantity surveyor around 1994 meant that I'm in an environment that is white male dominated. And one had to do 10 times or 100 times more in terms of making sure that you deliver on what you needed to do, because it was very easy in our market to be seen as a black woman who does not know what to do. Coach Pitso is an addict of soccer, including basketball that people don't know. But he is a perfectionist. He lives, breathes soccer all the time. And so the negativity that is happening around him, and why we as a company needs to correct that, is that we will not allow people to want to discredit a brand that has worked so hard and is working so hard, and is such a perfectionist and in whatever he does. And that people think because there's a narrative, whatever narrative that is being there, can be pushed. But let us not try and dim his light and show him as somebody who is not serious about his work and has failed in delivering whatever he started.
And would you say that perhaps from a MT Sports and Coach Pitso perspective, there is a possibility that you may want to explore and look at other greener pastures that may not come with so much criticism despite the success rate that he's had? I mean, we spoke about how over 88% of his matches have been successful, and the results speak for themselves.
You know, I don't think there is ever a coach that is never criticized. I think soccer lovers, in their very nature, they take soccer very personal.
Yes.
So I remember also when we were in Sundowns, and Coach Pitso, the first a year that he was here, there were boards at the stadium that he must be fired. So it is quite normal. So I think it does not matter where we go. There's always an expectation of winning all the time. And sometimes it's also about which team is the rivalry and which team you're playing against.
Certainly. And as I'm about to wrap up with you this morning, I just want to talk about the role of women in sport and in football. And I mean, you've come into the space and you've claimed it. And we're seeing the likes of Ria Ledwaba now wanting to run for the SAFA presidency. What do you say to not just young women, but to just the young generation that wants to get into these spaces and occupy space and make meaningful contributions?
My message would be hard work, and really the key important thing in my office is not about whether the person is right or wrong. It's the fact that people need to put on their thinking caps. So when you do anything, you have to have a process that says, for me to get to that point, this is what I did and my thought process. And it might be right or wrong. Not very difficult. Anything we set ourselves to do, one can succeed. Look at you. Understand you are a lawyer by profession, but you're doing another thing. I'm a project manager, quantity surveyor. Now I am in sports.
Certainly, certainly. Thank you so much, Moira, for talking to us this morning. Congratulations on all the work you've been able to do with brand Pitso Mosimane and the work that you'll continue to do. We wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
That is, of course, Moira Tlhagale of MT Sport, just talking about Coach Pitso Mosimane, his successes, and the fact that there will always be criticism, but that will not deter him on his journey as they continue to build the brand of Pitso Mosimane.